An investigation is underway into the deaths of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Now, the couple's bodies, along with their dog, were found in separate rooms in their New Mexico estate Wednesday. And moments ago, the Santa Fe County Sheriff told NBC that the couple were likely dead for days or weeks before they were discovered. Joining me now is Joseph Scott Morgan, Distinguished Professor of Applied Forensics at Jacksonville State University. Professor Morgan, thank you for being here. So I want to start with, okay, no external trauma, no immediate signs of foul play, at least according to preliminary autopsies. I mean, what sticks out to you of all the details we know so far?
That this is a multiple death scenario. This is not common, particularly, I worked for the ME in Atlanta and for the coroner in the New Orleans area. And Omar, I got to tell you, in my recollection, I've never worked a case with multiple deaths in a single structure that weren't either trauma related, or there was some type of toxin in the air, or it was something that had been ingested. And then on top of it, we have this dead canine as well that was found adjacent to her in the bathroom. And for me, you're going to have to dig deep and take your time with this case because, in my opinion, this is very, very complex.
And, the Santa Fe County Sheriff, as we just mentioned, said it appears to have been days, potentially even up to a couple of weeks before they were found. And the affidavit said there were signs of mummification on the bodies. What does that mean? And how does a body that may have gone many days before being found change the nature of a death investigation?
Well, yeah. So to that point, it makes it a bit more complex because a lot of the things that would be obvious as far as trauma goes, initially, particularly at the scene where you've got poor lighting and those sorts of things, you might not pick up on it as quickly. It's going to be to their advantage, and they've done that. That's probably occurring today. Those bodies are actually at the ME's office under the best type of circumstances to examine remains. Secondly, I begin to think about what they're going to be tasked with relative to kind of running down those things that are unseen. It's my opinion that they should do a very broad spectrum toxicology report. And this issue of carbon monoxide inhalation perhaps has come up time and time again. They're going to do a carboxyhemoglobin level on all parties concerned here. And in addition to having autopsies performed, which should involve head to toe, full body x-rays, they're going to do a necropsy, hopefully, on this canine that is deceased. To the point of mummification, though, we have to understand that Santa Fe, New Mexico is a very arid environment, and you only get mummification most of the time in very arid environments where you're absent any kind of significant humidity. And plus you're in the winter months now too. It makes it particularly dry in that environment. So there's a lot going on here. Reflectively, I'm thinking about these medications that were found scattered upon the vanity in the bathroom, this toppled heater. And Omar, one of the most troubling things about this is that this house was not secured. The door was actually open. And for me, as a death investigator, that's significant. And hopefully they will be exploring that very, very deeply.
A lot of factors to explore right now, just in the preliminary stages. As you know, these investigations typically take time. Joseph Scott Morgan, really appreciate you being here. Thanks for the time and perspective.
New details this morning about the investigation into the death of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy. The Santa Fe County Sheriff telling NBC the couple were likely dead there for days or even weeks before they were discovered Wednesday afternoon in their Santa Fe, New Mexico home. And their dog was dead too. While officials say there are no obvious signs of foul play, they also say the bodies were found in circumstances that were suspicious enough to demand a thorough investigation. CNN's Joss Campbell is in Santa Fe outside the Sheriff's Department headquarters for us this morning. What are you learning this morning about the investigation? Because for a lot of people, it does seem odd at the very least.
Yeah, my friend, good to be with you. And we got important information from the sheriff late yesterday. What he said is that the medical examiner has actually conducted autopsies on both Gene Hackman as well as his wife, Betsy. They say the initial assessment has determined there are no external signs of trauma. They have ordered tests to look for things like carbon monoxide poisoning as well as toxicology reports, which are pretty standard in these cases where you have a death that takes place under suspicious circumstances. But this obviously a tragedy, but also a mystery. And just to kind of walk you through how this happened, on Wednesday, a 911 call came in here to the sheriff's office by a caretaker at Hackman's home, and sheriff deputies responded. They found Betsy in a bathroom on the floor. She was surrounded by pills that were scattered about. As you mentioned, the German Shepherd was found in a closet, also deceased, and in another room, Gene Hackman himself. So authorities have launched this investigation to try to determine what caused all this, to try to come up with some type of timeline. So we're talking about two investigations going on at the same time. You have the Sheriff's Department investigation and then the medical examiner's investigation. Now, authorities say that at this point it doesn't look like there's any foul play. There were no signs of any type of struggle. Nothing was taken from the home. When authorities arrived, the door was actually open. So a lot of work that's going on behind the scenes right now to try to get the community some answers. Gene Hackman had obviously been out of the spotlight for many years, retiring from Hollywood long ago. Not much has been seen of him. We did get a new video that was taken just about a year ago where you see him coming out of a shopping center here in the Santa Fe area. Nevertheless, obviously a revered member of this community. And the Sheriff's Department says they're trying to get the community answers. It's also worth pointing out, Sarah, that this is not the first high-profile death investigation that authorities here have worked. This is the very same investigative team that handled the Rust movie shooting investigation involving Alec Baldwin. So they're used to conducting, these high-profile cases. They understand that a lot of people out there want answers.
Yeah, we're looking at some video of Gene Hackman, who has been pretty reclusive ever since he sort of left Hollywood 20 years ago and enjoying his life in Santa Fe with his wife. All right, thank you so much, Josh Campbell. I know you'll stay on this for us. It's good to see you, my friend.